Biden is under pressure to pardon Navy lieutenant who is imprisoned for negligent driving in Japan. I'm Tyrone Bowman. This is Tyrone Bowman Tonight. According to Washington Examiner, President Joe Biden is facing a growing chorus of voices calling on him to pardon U.S. Navy Lieutenant Ridge Akalonis, who faced negligent driving charges for a car crash that killed two Japanese nationals while stationed in Japan. Akalonis, who was assigned as a weapons officer on board the USS Benfold at Yokosuka Navy Base, fell unconscious while driving back from a day trip to Mount Fuji with his wife and 3 children before crashing into cars parked outside of a restaurant, resulting in the deaths of 2 Japanese citizens. Akalonis did not have alcohol or drugs in his system, has complied what the Navy described as a model service record, and has attributed the crash to sudden onset altitude sickness. Japan, a close ally of the United States, eventually sentenced him to 3 years in prison in September of 2022, but transferred him back to the United States just before Christmas. Akalonis remains incarcerated in California despite paying nearly $2 million in damages to the families of the deceased, and pleas from his wife and lawmakers for the president to issue him a pardon or commute his sentence. The Wall Street Journal, echoing the pleas of Akalonis' family, pushed an op-ed on December 29 calling on Biden to free Akalonis after he was excluded from the president's crop of December 22 commutations. The stakes are larger than Lieutenant Akalonis and his family. Congress, in the latest defense bill, tasked the Pentagon with reviewing foreign legal protections for U.S. service members, a provision driven by this case. The Wall Street Journal editorial board wrote, bringing those arrangements up to constitutional standards might preclude another mess. A presidential dispensation for Lieutenant Akalonis would be a useful message to sailors and airmen abroad pondering whether they are living one lapse away from ruin. Representative Michael Waltz, a representative from Florida, a former U.S. Green Beret, has been a leading voice on Capitol Hill calling for Akalonis' release, and he spoke to Fox News on Sunday. This was a tragedy over in Japan, but it was an accident, Waltz stated. He was in Japanese prison, and yes, they are a wonderful and great ally, but he was denied legal counsel. He was denied an interpreter. He was held in solitary confinement. He was treated in the worst of ways. The fact that he is now being held in a U.S. prison because of a Japanese conviction on an accident and after how he was treated is unconscionable to me. He continued, I'm calling on President Biden. I'm calling on the Department of Justice to release him today. They have the authority to do so. Let this brave hero go home to his family and exercise the authority that you have. I'm Tyrone Bowman. Never surrender, never quit.